So a lot you've heard about the Canadian girls. We're all excited that they've been rescued. We're trusting that the 3 Takoradi girls will also be rescued. Away from that though, the Ghana Standards Authority is pointing to Goil, Shell and Frimps Oil as cheating consumers at the pumps. A report released by the regulatory agency says that out of 65 fuel stations visited by inspection teams in Accra, 10 have adjusted their pumps to serve customers less than what they pay for. What is more, the report also says of the 3 implicated fuel stations, Frimps Oil has adjusted all 7 out of 8 of their pumps inspected at Tetegu Junction and Spintex Road, while the motorway extension of Shell has 3 out of their 4 pumps inspected adjusted to the disadvantage of their customers. The state-owned oil marketing company Goil is also reported to be cheating customers at all 13 pumps at the Mile 11 in Accra and Kaswa, Galilea, with pumps adjusted to the disadvantage of customers. Joining me in the studio is Executive Director of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers of Ghana, COPEC, Duncan Amoah. He's actually been asking for stiffer punishment for people found implicated in cases like this. Mr. Amoah, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you, Gifty.
So how much do you know about this report put together by Ghana Standards Authority?
As a matter of fact, this is something that is done, periodically.
Okay.
If you recall, last year's report was made public. What the GSA fell short of last year was to name the exact, the OMCs and the exact filling stations that have been found to have engaged in some of these malpractices. Fortunately for us, after piling all the pressure on them, they decided that now going forward, if they found any of these stations engaged in any of these bad practices that allows them to cheat the unsuspecting public, they will put that up. So, Gifty, the report is not all gloom. In fact, what is interesting is that...
Let's just stay a bit on this and have it done with. What I wanted to find out after this is whether adjusting, recalibration, I believe it represents, whether it is an entirely new phenomenon.
No, it is not. Okay. Gifty, you have an industry that is 90% compliant, but you may find some 10% of operators who are either looking for quick money or need some quick fixes, and so where they need to even invest in technology in order to be able to get to par with their peers. Some would fail to invest, and so their services are not at par with the others.
So you're blaming this on failure, failure to invest in technology? Is that a problem?
No. People, from what you read from the GSA report, it is quite clear that people deliberately tampered with these machines, because it cannot be said to be mechanical or a technical situation if, say, 2 out of 10 or 2 out of 8 didn't meet. But where you have about 7 out of 7, 6 out of 7, 13 out of 13 of these nozzles being adjusted in order to misread, such that the consumer buying 20 cedis gets 18 cedis or downwards.
But then I can see on the pump that on the display that I am buying, I'm getting 20. But in effect, what I'm getting in my tank is not up to 20.
Could be way less, because what you are buying, you only open your tank. You cannot tell what the nozzle is actually supplying.
Which is what I was going to come to. How can I tell as a consumer? I go to the fuel station, I buy fuel all the time. If I park my vehicle and I say, give me 100 Ghana cedis, how can I tell that I'm being cheated?
What we recall and what we recommend at COPEC is that when you are in doubt as to what has been served you, every single station across Ghana has been mandated to keep what we call the 10-litre can. The 10-litre can is free. It is not for you, the consumer, to pay for. Okay. It is an alternate dispute, mechanism, so that where I'm in dispute as to what you are serving into my car, which I cannot see, I want to have a verifiable, base, such that if you pump into the 10-litre can, my 2 eyes can see, and if indeed 10 liters on your machine is 10 liters to the can, then I could now believe that 10 liters into my car, which I cannot see, would have been 10 liters. But oftentimes, consumers...
It's a laborious system, isn't it?
It's a labo, and you know, I have done about 10 stations on my own. You just ask for the 10-liter can, and the usual response is that it's in the manager's office. The 10-liter can is not a trophy for the manager. It is for the consumer to be able to clear certain doubts, where when I buy, say, 100 cedis, I know my tank gets to half full. Yeah. I bought 100, I'm still at a quarter. And so I'm wondering what quantity has been served me. The 10-liter can should be on hand so as to, you know, settle that dispute. If he pumps again from the same machine and 10 liters is 10 liters, then I can be rest assured that maybe it is my gauge that is playing. It has
a problem.
You know, but sometimes you ask and you are told all manner of funny, you know, responses. And then again, we have also said that people should now begin insisting on receipts. So don't
How will that help?
You see, Gifty, if I took a receipt for a service or fuel that I purchased, if the next morning GSA went in there and are certain that these forms have been adjusted, I can quickly go back there and say, look, I have been a patron. I've been cheated over and over. Whatever compensations due me, we may decide on class actions, you know, to say that these stations have cheated these people over a period. As it is now, the stations that are listed, I'm sure their customers are known. But these customers are not getting any, how do you call it, any compensation because the GSA has gone in there. Their sanctions regime says they should fine them. GSA has fined them. What comes to the consumer who bought the fuel and has been cheated? Nothing. And so in the end, it looks as though this has been ongoing. The sanctions are not deterrent enough. We go and fine them 5,000, they pay. When GSA leaves, they readjust and do all kinds of things. We at COPEC have given them a 1-week ultimatum. The mentioned stations, the Shell, the Total, the Frimps, the whatever.
There was no Total, there was Shell.
There was one Total actually that failed. That's why I wanted to give you the entire list.
I'd like for you to look it up for me whilst we take this box. We've been talking to people on what, their own experiences at the pumps. Hear them.
Well, you know, sometimes the issue is I found out time ago. I found out from one of the workers, and they said it's like it's being owned by different companies or different people. So I complained a time ago that there seems to be different. Sometimes when you purchase a fuel at some station, you know, I sometimes use the gauge. Okay, sometimes where I'll be expecting it to reach, it will not be there, but I'll buy it at a different place and then it will be up to. But I don't know whether, but I've heard before that there used to be there's some kind of system adjustment or whatever. I don't know what they actually mean, but that is what I know. But I don't know whether it's true or not. But sometimes I used to complain that why this fuel I'm supposed to be up to the gauge that I normally expect.
Normally, what I learned is that the fuel attendant, when you come to buy the fuel, they have a way. There is 3 steps whereby they have to press for the fuel to flow. So if they press it once, it will move normal. But if they press it twice or thrice, the fuel normally comes in a speed. It comes very speedy. When it happens, so I know that they get something to, put in their pockets.
Oh, I know they be quite. Shell, Phyllis is be why you told why almost see, and I've been so the almost from almost so sometimes we say engine tea, maybe auto a fine car until I'm a baha me told Michelle Hayana me top of the.
Okay, so everybody has their own preference. These are some of the people the consumers, petroleum consumers people that we spoke to, and their thoughts. But you have a deeper insight for us from the reports done by GSA. Let's try and wrap up with that.
So, Gifty, you have 65 stations visited in all. 65, and then you find 10 having a problem. It means that the 55 other stations were quite okay.
Hopefully.
Okay. Now, of the 10, you have Shell, you have Total, you have Goil, you have Frimps Oil, Okay, so the 10 are here. You have Shell, you have Total, you have Goil, you have Frimps, you have Allied at Sakaman. You do get Glory Oil. You also get Goodness Energy Kaswa. And then in addition, 2 companies, Galaxy Oil, Spintex Road, and Agapet. Spintex Road had broken the GSA seal, meaning that seals that the GSA had placed on those pumps to ensure that people don't tamper with them, to ensure that nothing untoward is done. Some of those seals have been broken.
Wow.
So to what end? We are saying that these affected OMCs between now and the following week, next week, in a matter of 7 days, should come out to assure the rest of the Ghanaian public that these are extremely isolated incidents. We would never come to these incidents again. Whether the dealers are adjusting these pumps to make their own gains that the OMC is not aware of or not, we would need some bit more of work from these affected OMCs. Otherwise, Gifty, in the next 7 days, will advise consumers across the country to start boycotting them. This is not good enough.
Okay. I take that to be your final comment. Otherwise, if you have any, let's add and wrap it up.
Gifty, going forward, we would also beg the authorities, the GSA particularly, to hasten this inspection and make sure that if we can get it monthly done, so that there are monthly stickers that would indicate for January red, February blue, whatever colors that there are for the months. When I'm buying from a station that has been visited by the GSA, at least I'll have that bit of confidence that these pumps are working as they should. Anything other than that, the fines and the sanctions should be steeper than they currently are to deter others from engaging in such acts.
Executive Secretary of the COPEC, that's the Consumers Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana. Duncan Amwa.
You've always struggled with this.
I beg your pardon. No, I have not. I have not. That's not true. Okay, so we're done with that. If you go to the fuel station, he says you can ask for the 10-liter can. 10-liter can. If you suspect that you're being cheated, you can ask for that. But at least you can get on myjoyonline.com and get details of this report so that you know which of the fuel stations are cheating. COPEC is issuing an ultimatum. Hopefully within that time there will be some action that makes sure that we're not cheated anymore. I'll be talking to you about an immune booster that we're getting to know of. We're told that it's from right here, from within, and it's supposed to help persons living with HIV/AIDS. I'll be talking to you about that when I return from Germany.